So research in this area comparing family functioning and parenting in autism and other developmental disabilities has demonstrated that families of children with autism report elevated stress and increasing demands. So social difficulties are at the core of this disability, which may lead to challenges for children and their families in building relationships with others, which can be really isolating. And because autism has a high genetic component, other family members may also be impacted in some way. In addition to these, the presence of behavioral problems, which can be common in autism, can present challenges for families, raising overall stress levels. So studies that have compared quality of life across various disabilities have shown that families of children with autism demonstrate the lowest satisfaction across most domains compared to families of children with Down syndrome, ADHD, and typically developing children as well. In particular, the domains which families of children with autism report the lowest satisfaction is in the area of career preparation, and also leisure and enjoyment of life. So these domains, they report the lowest satisfaction in. So this finding of lower family quality of life will depend on specific characteristics of the child, such as their symptom severity, the presence of behavioral problems, but also adaptive functioning. So things like social skills, communication, and daily living skills as well. Okay, so why is family quality of life important? So it's important for researchers and clinicians to assess family quality of life as an outcome to determine where families are needing more supports and services. It's used to figure out, are there areas where families report the lowest satisfaction? And if so, how can we specifically target these areas and strengthen them where families report low satisfaction, where they show that they're struggling or show difficulty. This can also help guide service providers and clinicians in their recommendations for where families should allocate already limited funding and resources in order to maximize benefits.
Yeah, I'll just also add, Vanessa, I think the point that these measures are subjective really lend themselves, I think, to a family-centered approach, because it's not, it's the family telling you, it's letting them sort of lead in telling you what their areas of concern are, and what's important to them.
Right, that's a really good point. Thanks for adding that. So most of the research informing our understanding of family quality of life has primarily come from Western contexts, where participants tend to represent a very small slice of the population. So they tend to come from high socioeconomic status groups, they're highly educated, and they're mostly white samples. So this can be problematic because our understanding of family quality of life and what is important to families may not be representative of the entire population. So it's possible that as a result, there may be culturally bound assumptions inherent in these tools. In other words, what we think is important to all families in defining their family quality of life may only be relevant to families who live in Western context, have high income, are highly educated, and things like that. So recently, there has been a growing recognition for this need to assess culturally and linguistically diverse families. So this leads us to our current project, where we assessed understanding and definitions of family quality of life in Korean and Canadian families.